As a church leader, your time and resources are limited. It's difficult to find discipleship and Bible study materials that are affordable, easily accessible, and high quality. But there is a way to equip the people in your church every day of the week without losing sleep. Welcome to Right Now Media, the world's largest library of video-driven Bible study resources, used by more than 20,000 churches, schools, and organizations. With a Right Now Media subscription, everyone in your church can access thousands of biblical resources for kids, couples, small groups, and more. Give your members access to great content, anytime, anywhere, on any device.
And God specifically says, the way you think, that's not the same way I think.
Equip and inspire everyone in your church beyond Sunday.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me in Solomon's Temple. My name is Solomon Izan Ashams. They call me Uncle Solomon, as you can see right there. So please feel free to call me that, because even my 4-year-old child calls me Uncle Solomon and is refusing to change. So, well, thank you so much. Appreciate your support, each and every one of you that are here all the time to check out the videos that we make, and also engage as we grow together, as we question certain things, and as we probe truth. And the truth is Jesus himself. And that's where all of us are keeping our focus on that, and believing that, he's the author and the finisher of our faith. Whatever we do, we make sure that we are geared with our intention is to be able to be like Christ every single day. That's important. So I want to thank each and every one of you that is also a subscriber. Thank you to every of my subscribers. Please, if you haven't subscribed yet, can you please subscribe right now? Just go click subscription. You're watching on YouTube, so click subscription. I'm actually broadcasting just in YouTube. Between now and Friday, I'm broadcasting just in YouTube. I'm not going to broadcast on Facebook simultaneously. So the Facebook people have to come to YouTube. They don't have a chance but to come. They don't have any other way to go about it but to come to YouTube. But then, there are some of you guys that you're here already. And I can see, a lot of you guys here. Maureen here is saying, good evening, Uncle Solomon and members of the temple, Graceworld in Servo Estate. Pearl is also saying, greetings to everyone. Evelyn has been here twice already today. Thank you, Florence. Great to have you here. TJ from Pretoria, good to have you here. Mwape from Zambia, Lusaka. It's been a while, Mwape. I hope you're doing well. Felicia, good to have you here. Jamaica again. God bless you. Thank you. Thanks so much for coming. Kingspen, all the way from my city, Jos, Nigeria. Good to have you here. Good to have you here also, Helen, Helping Hands. Awesome to have you here. Christine from Kenya. We got Alicia all the way from Florida in the building. Yes, we thank you for coming. Thank you, Choni. Thank you, Ebun. Thank you, Faith. Isha is also here. Rose, definitely. And all the other, I got quite a lot of other people here. Yolanda from Tanzania. And we got also Doc Bash. Doc Bash was here with earlier, rather. And then Charles is also here. So I want to sort of like give you an update regarding an issue that I discussed a couple of months ago about a certain church in Capetown. And the focus was just how the church operated. It's called New Covenant Church. New Covenant Church. And how some of the cover-up and the lack of leadership in so many areas have destroyed the lives of families and also destroyed the life of children within the family, where there is no responsibilities taken, but instead people who try to speak out are being threatened, are being intimidated, are being intimidated with physical intimidation with cops, or trying to intimidate them with lawyers and all that kind of stuff, and one of those that is very close to the scene is Andre, and Andre's brother, Benwo, is a pastor at New Covenant Church in Capetown. Now, he has watched over the years how Denwo, who is a pastor, how that has actually affected his family, how his selfish decisions about what satisfies him sexually, financially, when it comes to power, being the husband, how that has destroyed Andre's niece, nephew, sister-in-law, which is the family of Denwo. So I'm going to bring Andre here, to speak about it. He's been helping the children of this pastor. He's been helping the family of this pastor, so-called pastor. But he's going to tell us a bit about him and how they got here, and also what is the current state of the family of this pastor. Again, Andre is a sibling to this pastor that all these allegations is about. He's a sibling to him. So this is the name of the pastor. So the allegations are against Pastor Denwo Olsen. Right? Just so you can get the big picture. And it is his brother who's been very concerned about the family, who's been supporting the family, who himself has been threatened, intimidated so many times because he's speaking out against what his older brother has been doing to his own family. So let me get Andre in the studio. Hi, Andre. Good to have you here.
Good evening, Uncle Solomon. Trust you are well. You and all your viewers are well.
Yes, we are well. Last time we've been communicating and we got to understand the situation through your brother and his family that you were very concerned about. He's with New Covenant Church in Capetown, and you've observed how his family has been disoriented and somehow even destroyed today. Tell us a little bit about how we even got here.
Hi, Uncle Solomon. Things started going very bad last year, the beginning of January, where my sister-in-law went to her husband and told him that, look here, you need to step down from leadership from the church so that we can focus on us as a family. Because you've been a leader at the church for many years. In fact, we've been members of the church for 16 years. But as a family, you could never even pray for us in our home. So just step down from leadership and focus on us as a family. And I don't think as a wife that's too much to ask of her husband. So because she said that to him, that is where everything started to go horribly wrong. Because this husband believes that he's been given a mandate by God to be the bishop's right-hand man. He's saying he should take care of the bishop and his family, even at the expense of his own family. And that is said in front of me to his wife. You don't understand what God has given me. So, Uncle Solomon, again, if a man comes to a point where he have to choose between his wife and church, obviously you choose your wife, your family, your own family. But because of that, because he didn't make that decision, he continued. He blamed his wife for so many things. First and foremost, he told me his wife is the cause for the problems in their marriage. For 16 years, there's never been 1 year where they didn't want to get a divorce. So I asked him, okay, 16 years. So where's the leadership of the church? No, the leaders is there. They are there. The bishop is counseling us. But I asked him, well, if your bishop is there, why are you not getting help? Because you cannot seek for help from the same person for 16 years without getting any. Long story short, he said, no, the first 7 years, the son was the problem. The son. So I told him, Denver, this doesn't make sense because your son was only a little boy that time. So how can you blame your son for being the cause? Then he turned it around and said, no, his wife because of her smoking. And again, there's always been blame shifting. So his son told me, Uncle, I have suspicions that my daddy is having affairs, but I cannot prove it. So it is only up until October last year where we got the videos of him having sex with multiple women, 17 17 videos to be exact, with 5 different women, where his son actually phoned me that evening where he wept, where he said, now I've got the proof. Perhaps our family that's been rejecting me will now believe me. So that's where we were at. After that, Uncle Solomon, you know, I've sent you all the letters where I've been threatened by lawyers, 2 specific lawyers' letters from the bishop. I've been threatened where policemen actually came to my workplace to arrest me because I'm in possession of stolen property. Obviously, the SD card that the son gave to me. So instead of him taking responsibility for his actions, he's still blaming people. Now I'm the bad one. His wife is the bad one. Still, everybody else is to be blamed except him and the bishop. Again, tonight I'm coming here also to say the bishop has been hiding my brother's stuff, like you mentioned in the first interview. Perhaps because the bishop himself has been doing the same things, or perhaps even worse things than my brother. That's why he's been covering up for him. So I can tell you, just like you say, you all with your sources from a very, very, very reliable source. The bishop has been having a sexual affair with his worship team leader, former worship team leader, where he also has a child with this with that worship team leader. And it's all been hidden and swept under the rug for many years. And whenever people says they're going to speak out against it, the bishop would threaten them with lawsuits. Now, I think by now they know that the lawsuits won't scare me, but now the intimidation of the children, how the family is suffering financially, psychologically, where they're ending up at social workers and psychologists, where I personally had to go to a psychologist for 3 months for myself because of the trauma it puts the family through. And yet, Denver Olsen plays the victim in church. Denver Olsen and Bishop Theo Noble is never wrong because Andre has a personal vendetta against them. So people need to know the truth, man, and the truth will set us free. And Theo Noble and Denver Olsen are frauds, and they need to own up.
So Theo Noble, being the bishop and the founder of New Covenant Church in Capetown, he is the leader, and obviously your brother, Pastor Denwo, he is like his right-hand man. They've been together, and he's been in leadership in that church for a long time. While for so many years, while his family, his marriage was gradually falling apart. What were some of the things that he did within the marriage that contributed to the breakdown of this marriage over the years?
Uncle Solomon, it's a very sad thing because being the pastor of a church, obviously certain people would trust you with certain information and stuff like that. So he would use information that people would share with him to get into their pants. Now, I always say this, my brother never smoked or drank, but my brother used to be a womanizer. That's all that he... Now, as a youngster, when we grew up, that was nice. You understand? Having a brother that sleeps around with many women, it's nice maybe when you're young and stupid, unsaved. But this man is a pastor now. He's supposed to be a different. You understand? He's supposed to set an example to so many people. That 2 women that he slept with in the church, still they didn't have the decency to go to that woman's husbands, because I can tell you this, the husbands still don't know. You understand?
So they're married women.
It's 2 married women within their church. So it's all been swept under the rug. And again, they tell the people to block me on social media. People have been threatening me, so many things. Their members have been threatening me on social media, inboxes and stuff, because I'm the wrong one, because I'm speaking out for my sister-in-law that's been suffering. None of these people, members, leaders in the church, has ever come forward to tell her, I'm sorry for what I've done. In fact, only now, 3 weeks ago, one of the pastors, and I'll mention their names because I've got nothing to hide, James Tempest, came and he messaged my sister-in-law to say, I'm sorry for my part in all of this, because I realized that I too have children, I have daughters, I have a mother, I have a sister, and this shouldn't happen. But yet, when he got a call from the bishop, he never contacted her again. He never contacted me afterwards again. So all of these people have been threatened and been manipulated for years by this bishop. Because as soon as he talks, everybody else just listen. This is a man, Uncle Solomon. It's a man. I respect, let me say first and foremost again, I love pastors. I love the church. But because we have given some people the authority that God never gave them. That is why they are manipulating people. I know people in that church that took out loans, man, to give to that bishop for pastors' appreciation services. In fact, next month it's gonna go on again, because every year November, strategically when it's bonus time, it's pastors' appreciation service, and people go out and make loans to supply money for the pastor. Him and his wife and his children got the best of everything, while people are suffering, man. Families are being destroyed. This is not the first divorce that has happened in that church over the years. There's many people that went through the same thing that my sister-in-law is going through. But I promised her from last week, and I told her, Cinder, this will be the last divorce that's going there on there at NCCC because of Theo Noble and Denver Olsen. You had Vernon even on your show, and you heard his story as well. So it's not something that I'm sucking out of my thumb. It is real people, man, with real issues. And the fact that there's a clique here in Cape Town, all these pastors are now making fun on social media of we need to honor bishops and we need to honor men of God in spite of what people are saying. They don't realize the people's tears. They don't even have any remorse or regret for what they put these people through. Families are suffering because of them. My mom is in hospital every single second week because she's stressing. It's two children fighting, but because the one won't take responsibility. Now it comes and it adds more problems on the rest of the family. Why? Because we are 4 brothers. One is taking his side, two is saying I'm right. So it's stirring up families. And yet Theo Noble and Denver Olsen don't want to take responsibility. They've been sifting the blame, blaming everybody else. The last time when you got caught with the whole thing of the sex, he blamed Sangomas. A pastor that says he's been trapped by Sangomas, that is why he's sleeping around with other women. A pastor, a man of God that says that somebody bewitched him. That is why sleeping around. You know what you did, man. Just own up and say what you've done and see what you are doing to your kids. How you destroying your kids and your grandchildren. You understand? He's destroying their lives. He's destroying the family, and he's the victim. Theo Noble and Denver Olsen should just take responsibility for their actions.
Now, as a brother-in-law, your brother is Pastor Denver Olsen with the New Covenant Church in Cape Town. As a brother, you are his brother. You are his younger brother. And to see your nieces and you know your niece and your nephew and your sister-in-law going through that, what motivated you to step in and help and speak out? Because you also, you know, you're also putting your relationship with him at stake, your relationship with the Bishop Theo Noble. They are so-called powerful and they got money. But what made you just take the bold step and say, look, hey, you know, this family, if my brother chooses to continue to sleep with women, destroy his marriage, keep lying, even though he's a pastor, I'm going to support his family and his kids.
Uncle Solomon, the only thing that motivated me was truth. Because they've been bad-mouthed so many times. They've been labeled so many things, both her and her children. And the one thing that motivated me was truth, irrespective of who the perpetrator is, how much I love him as my brother. Right remains right and wrong remains wrong, regardless of who the perpetrator is. So I was only interested in the truth. So when Enwa said to me certain things, I wanted to hear the truth. I did the right thing by going to my brother first and saying, look here, this is what your son is saying. What is your take on it? Then I went and he took me to leadership, my church leadership. In fact, Uncle Solomon, I stood down from our leadership at church because I couldn't lead people at church knowing that I'm fighting with my brother. You understand? I took this step myself. I went to my pastor and said, look, I want to step down because there's issues that me and my brother need to sort out personally. But then they even went as far as to threaten my pastor, because my pastor tried to step in and to follow the Matthew 18 principle by bringing us together. That was just before our meeting. And there, myself was threatened, my wife and my kids was threatened by the bishop himself. He's saying, I'm coming after you, your wife, and your children. Now, what man of God does something like that? And still today within his church, people are thinking Andre is the wrong one. Andre has been labeled as the bully that's saying stuff on social media. But they are using the pulpit for years to manipulate, lie, steal, rob people for years. And it's wrong, Uncle Solomon. As a child of God, as a Christian, I cannot remain silent knowing that my brother is involved in doing these kind of things. Especially not because it's my brother, because the fact that he's my brother actually motivates me more just to see the truth. Not to expose anybody, Uncle Solomon, but so that people can start to get healing. In the interim, from the last time we spoke, I can tell you 10 former members of NCCC spoke to me and told me, Andre, what you're saying now is true. Many of them are saying, Andre, we went through this. They told me stories about what this bishop and my brother did. They say what you are seeing and what you are saying, it's only but the tip of the iceberg. There's so many other things that's been hidden for the last 20 years within that church. And the sad thing, Uncle Solomon, is the wife, she knows about it. So how do you allow your husband to go on and do these kind of things as if nothing is wrong? And again, they don't care what he does to this family. Now again, when I got this call last week, that is what motivated me to speak to you again. When she said my child is harming herself at school. When she said the social worker stepped in and said, look here, you need to do something because your child is at the point where she wants to do something to herself.
Let's not even before we even deal with the two children, because I'm sure they're in a state of themselves, just being in a state of depression, in a state of, just not knowing where to go, how life is going to go. Let's talk about his marriage and his wife currently. What is their relationship like? What is the state of their marriage currently? And how is his wife doing? And I'm sure the wife, you work closely with the wife now, isn't it?
Yes, Uncle Solomon, I work quite closely with her. We speak on a weekly basis, sometimes even on a daily basis, depending on how she feels. So they are in the process of divorce. So because my brother has always been the breadwinner, his wife never worked, only worked for a few months maybe. So he never allowed her also even to have money. If she would go to do her hair, then he pays for it. If she would go and do shopping, then he would EFT the money while she's shopping. So he never allowed her to have access to money and stuff like that. Within the last 5-6 months, he sold about 3 of their vehicles while the divorce is in the process. Even though he shouldn't be doing it, he's doing it. And because he knows people, like I say, he's a warden for over 20 years, because he knows people, the system unfortunately is on his side, and she's got no money, she's got nobody else to go to. Went to the police station, and what police station must he go to? Kirstenhof police station, the very same police station where his friends are working, because the wardens and the police obviously they know each other. So everywhere she goes, she is like literally walking to a brick wall. She gets no help, no support. And she's at the point, Uncle Solomon, where at breaking point where she needs help. I mean, to even go as far as to national TV to see a story, and yes, people offer to help, and we thank God for you and what you are doing and the assistance that you're giving. But she's crying out for help, honestly. She's crying out for help, and that is what we are hoping to get for her and many other people in the situation that has been robbed by the system, that's been robbed by people with power that thinks that their power and their money can make them get away with murder, literally.
So so how is she coping now? When it comes to just the fact that she is a mother, and also the fact that she needs to take care of her children. How is she coping generally?
Uncle Solomon, to be honest, last week for the first time within the 18 months, and when she told me that, look, yeah, I can't talk to you now because I'm too emotional. I'm crying, and I'm gonna phone you later. that really broke me, because within the 18 months, obviously, I wanted for her to cry, honestly, so that she can start with the whole healing process. Because for children, obviously, a mom has to remain strong and be strong for children. But there was never a time where she showed emotion. You understand? He has made us so hard towards him that she never showed emotion. So last week, after coming back from the social worker, when she cried, I think that was the beginning of her healing process, where she can now obviously just trust and believe God for a breakthrough going forward.
Now let's talk about the daughter. The daughter has been going through a lot, and there is some sort of like threats by the social worker to take her away or something. What's been going on in the life of their daughter? That is your niece.
The daughter is really sad, because a few weeks ago we would chat
How old is
continuously.
she? How old is she, by the way?
She's 12 years old now, Uncle Solomon. She's 12.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's 2 weeks ago. No. Speaking under correction, a month ago, she sent me a message and she said, "Look here, I need some stuff." And I said, "Now, why didn't you ask your daddy?" And then she said, "Yes, I did, but he's not responding." And then she said to me herself, "Uncle Annie, you know what? It breaks my heart, because when it was my birthday, my daddy only took me out for an hour. And that was now in July month. My daddy spent 1 hour with me by taking me somewhere. But the bishop's daughter, my daddy took out now, and the photos was on Facebook where he took her to Spur. And these are the kind of things that obviously she saw and then she spoke about. She said, I asked my daddy for money for simple things, not even a lot, a 10 rand. And he said he's got no money. And Uncle Annie is driving around up and down, he's doing his own thing. And then she said, these are things that I don't want to speak to my mommy about. She's 12 years old. She says, because my mommy is going through so much already. But I don't want to mention these things to my mommy, because I don't want to hurt my mommy anymore. My mommy is too much. So at 12 years old, she's already so mature, but it's not fair towards her. It's not fair that a 12-year-old has to take this responsibility, all because people get divorced, Uncle Solomon. It's not normal, but it happens. But the trauma that divorces brings to the children, I don't think as parents we realize that the trauma we put them through. But for them still to live in the same house with him, he treats them as if they're not there. He doesn't spend time. He literally for this whole year, if he spend 3 hours with her, it's a lot. He thinks taking her to church is spending time with his daughter. So on a Sunday still, he would take her to church. And that's him spending time with her. But his daughter is crying out for a daddy. His daughter is crying out just to spend time with him. But he's too busy spending time with his bishop and his bishop's children that he's got absolutely no time for his daughter as well as his son. He's got two beautiful grandchildren. The one grandchild will be 1 year old next month. He spent an hour with that grandchild in the whole year that the child is born. Well, how do I know it? Because he would only do stuff if somebody tell him, hey, did you see your grandchild? That child was 8 months old when he held that child for the first time. Again, Uncle Solomon, you can have issues with your wife and issues with the father, with your son, but your children and your grandchildren didn't do anything to you. I'm talking about specifically the daughter and his two grandchildren. They didn't do anything. They don't deserve this, that what he's doing to them now. And now also, when the social worker said that she's very withdrawn, sit in class alone, used to be a very good student, but grades have dropped tremendously. Sit in class, beats her hand against the wall for a 12-year-old. So that is why the social worker stepped in. So still, they called him, called his mom, had a meeting with both of them, obviously separately because he won't meet with his wife in one room. And even after having that meeting with the social worker and psychologist, he didn't even have the decency to come and tell his wife, look here, for the sake of this child, let us sit and talk. Because he showed me the message he sent him. For the sake of the child, can't we just sort things out and move the divorce forward so that I can at least get this child out of this environment where they are living now is not right for that child. You understand? Because they're still living in the same house. They don't talk to one another. The daughter must now be the mediator between the two of them. Ask your daddy, I need food. Ask your daddy, I need this. And it's not right for that. But now also He's neglecting his child. You understand, Uncle Solomon? And yet, every Sunday, he's in his best dress sitting in church. Still sitting in church, pretending to be this holy man, and always saying that, yes, people want to throw my past against me. I'm not there to throw your past against you. All I want for you as my brother to take responsibility and see what your past has done to your children. See what your past is doing to us as a family. Because you're not taking responsibility. See how it's destroying your children's life. See how it's ruining our lives. See how it's ruining our relationship as brothers. Not only ours, but our other siblings around us. Because now we must take sides. It's not fair towards a family. And this happened where? At the church, where the bishop has been covering for this man for 17 years. So where's the bishop's responsibility? Because this man he's a pastor in the church for 9 years now. So where's your responsibility? How do you allow a man to lead like this? What does the Bible say about being in leadership? A bishop himself should be the husband of one wife. So how are you having an affair for 16 years? So how are you preaching to others if you yourself is having an affair? You understand? So that is why you cannot reprimand my brother for having affairs, multiple, with so many women. You understand, Uncle Solomon? And these are the kind of things that we cannot whistle away as much as I want to. It is real people's issues. It is real tears. How many times don't I myself cry myself to sleep? Why? Because it harms the family. It harms our entire family. You understand? So all I'm asking for him still up until from February this year, I've been trying to phone him, sending him messages. He don't respond. He's blocked me or whatever he did. But I want to talk to him. I wanted even to have a mediator. I've asked my uncles, cousins to set up a meeting. And whenever year I'm going to be there, he couldn't even come to our own aunt's funeral 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, he refused to come. Why? Because he knew I was going to be there. So these are the kind of things that's been happening. Understand? Because he's justifying his decisions. He's honestly, I've heard a lot about narcissistic people, pathological liars, but I've seen one now. I've seen one because he doesn't take responsibility for anything he's done. And he's always blaming somebody. There's always a scapegoat. There's always a reason why Pastor O is doing what he's doing. It's never his fault. And that is why I'm
Yeah, and that one is your brother. And his daughter, your niece, that is 12-year-old, there's a danger that the social worker said that she might, where she's depressed, the level where she is, she might take her life, end her life or something like that. How are you guys making sure you keep an eye on her, and to also the mother, what's the mother doing to be able to make sure, because she's been affected in school, you said her grades have dropped and all that kind of thing.
Yes, myself and my other brother would occasionally go and fetch the child, obviously, for a weekend. She would come, the mom would come every now and then, even to Mitchell's Plain for a weekend or so. In fact, tomorrow they are going for a retreat. Some of our friends offered to take them away just to come out of that whole atmosphere, out of that house, to come and think, because she's been in that house. Like I say, he's taken the vehicles away from her. She has to walk now, so she doesn't have money. So if we don't help her, and obviously we've got our own families, then she's her hands are literally cut off. So we doing as a family what we can. She's, in fact, I told you, she's coming to us for a few days now. She's here, in fact, inside. But we really need just people to understand. We're not looking for sympathy from people, obviously not. But this family has been literally torn apart by the decisions of the husband, as well as the leadership in the church itself. Because if the church did their due diligence many years ago, we wouldn't have been here today. And it's a sad thing because they're justifying it. People are getting divorced. This is his own words to me. People are getting divorced in church. This is not the first divorce that there was, and it won't be the last. This is a pastor speaking like this. You understand, Uncle Solomon? And again, I'll tell you now in front of the whole, everybody's watching, I love him. He might not see this as love now. He might see me as judging him and doing whatever. But it's because of love that I'm doing this. Because there's
Right.
grace this side of the grave, Uncle Solomon.
Right.
I want him to repent and to be honest with God first and foremost, and call out to God, because God can restore. Nobody is too bad to turn out good, but it needs to come from the heart. The last time when he confessed to the church, it was because the videos was out, and I asked him, "Are you
Those sex
confessing now
videos, right?
because are you confessing now because the sex videos are out now?" Again, why did you keep it? If you say that you've asked God to forgive you, then why did you keep this stuff on your phones? Are you still using it to manipulate women into doing what you want them to do? Because that's what I know he's been doing. You understand? Using these videos as almost like as ransom. If you don't do what I say, and then I'll go to your husband. So this is a past, Uncle Solomon. It's not. If it's somebody in the world, we expect the world to act like the world. But this is a man that's preaching, standing on the pulpit, encouraging other people. You understand, Uncle Solomon? And that is why I'm speaking out, because people like them give the church generally a bad name. And now, when we that wants to speak truth, want to preach to people, want to encourage people, we are being labeled as the church that they are doing for the bad stuff that others are doing. So that is why, and I was so encouraged when I saw your stuff, because I realized that I'm not the only one feeling like this. You understand? There's many people that feels this way about truth, irrespective of how it gets brought across. But people need to understand that truth sets free.
Tell me about his son, Enwo. How is he doing? And that is your nephew. How is he doing right now? They've had a very turbulent and uh, very negative relationship where he's almost like disowned him or something. How is he doing right
In a way, it's not at a good space now again, Uncle Solomon. Yesterday again, and I'm being as honest as I can be. He phoned me and he cried and he wept uncontrollably again. So Inwa is working with me. So in fact he's working night shift tonight. So if Inwa is not working and he's at home alone, and then somehow something triggers him to think about this, and then Inwa would go into a rage where he would like he cries. Inwa is somebody that cries and gets angry where he wants to fight. You understand? So I don't know really. I've spoken to him yesterday last, but if we're not there with him, then I don't know what he gets up to. You understand? And I'm scared that this thing might lead inward to over the edge in some way or the other. We might think inward somewhere with his friends and enjoying themselves, and then something would trigger it. And then because of his anger issues towards his dad, yes, his dad disowned him. His dad doesn't want anything to do with him because his dad is blaming him now for all of this because he gave the SD card to me. So Inwa is now obviously public enemy number one. So even where he went, he's got two children from previous before he got no, not before he got married. While he was married, the one he had the other son also. So now that children is speaking out against Inwa because Inwa is now putting their daddy's name to shame on social media and stuff like that. But he was trying to seek for help from them. He was trying to seek help from many people, even leaders within the church. He tried to talk to them, tried to tell them, look here, this is what I'm going through. But nobody helped him. So now that he's doing something by talking, now it's also wrong. Maybe the platform that he used wasn't the right platform, but where do people like us go to for help? You understand, Uncle Solomon? Who is going to help people like us? Who's going to help people like the sender that doesn't have money? What must first happen to this family or somebody in this family before we want to take matters seriously? Why do we always want to first wait until somebody has harmed himself? Now we want to say, if only they talked, if only they said their stories. Now these people are crying out for help. They're crying out at different places. They went to the police station. They went to lawyers and stuff. And it doesn't seem that they're getting the help. So now that they're using this platform, now it's also wrong. And to make matters work, like I said, that pastors within Cape Town are making fun and are making light of these kind of things where people are suffering. And this is not the only family that's suffering here within Cape Town because of this church, but the fact that they're making light of it, that it angers me, Uncle Solomon. It really angers me because people are suffering.
And there's no way you can go back to the church and speak to the Bishop Noble, Tio Noble, because you guys have been doing this for the last 10 years or so. It's been over and over and over again, and nothing is forthcoming. But at least now that you're putting it out on platforms like this and putting it out and sharing their story, and you sharing the story of your brother and the story of his family, which is very painful. Now they're beginning to know that, look, hey, they need to do something about it. Finally, now, how are you going to? What's the way forward for the wife currently, for the daughter, and for the son? What's the way forward? Because obviously he has moved on with his life already. Clearly, he's somebody who dates multiple women at the same time. He has kids out of wedlock, and he's a pastor. Nothing changed. He's been doing that for the last 16 years. While he still remained a pastor. So what's the way forward? How do you hope to help this, your sister-in-law, your brother's wife, your niece, your nephew?
Like first and foremost, I'm first hoping to get them into a place where they can stay, obviously, Uncle Solomon, because he's the warden working at Paulsmore, so they're living on Paulsmore on the premises. So up until the divorce proceedings is final and done, she's stuck in that house with him, unfortunately, where he is literally controlling everything that happens within the house. Up until still where he would decide, I'm buying food today, I'm buying this today. If she needs anything, she must first tell the daughter to ask him. So it is that she must get out of that house, Uncle Solomon, as soon as possible. He's delaying the divorce for some reason. He told her right in front of me, she came into this marriage with nothing, and I'll make sure she's gonna leave with nothing. So now, even when he gets to court on certain days where they have to appear before the court, he comes there with a private lawyer, and obviously that he must pay thousands of rand, and she's there with a legal aid lawyer, and the case gets postponed and postponed and postponed, and I don't know for how long. So, but up until the divorce proceedings obviously is final, her hands are tied. Her family, like I said earlier, is almost 3 hours away out of Cape Town. So she's stuck in that house. So yes, we can bring her over for a weekend or two, but at the end of the day, she still needs to go back there. I don't know what will also push him over there. It's because by me coming out to speak to you now, and again, the last time he threatened the family with a gun, where he took out his service pistol. So I don't know what he's capable of. And again, we read so many weird stories of people going over the edge. What must still happen for this family to get help? So from a family side, I'm trying to get them to go to counseling, trying to get her to a place where she can go to church even again. But that's what we're trying to do now. But up until the divorce is finished, where she now literally would get her stuff and they can move forward and start over, her hands are tied, and he just don't want this thing to get over with, because I don't know why he's dragging it. I'm hoping and praying to God that somebody would just listen and aid the way it is with the whole process of the lawyers, where things can speed up now, because it's been going on for far too long.
What is their relationship with God now, the wife and the kids? How has this affected their relationship with God?
The wife is still very, very much praying a lot. Obviously, when we speak, she speaks about God and how God has been the source of strength for her. If it wasn't for God during this whole process, then she wouldn't have known where she is. Anyway, at 23 is at the point where where many 23-year-olds are, they backslidden, don't want to, and especially with this thing happening in the church. Yes, he goes to church every now and then. He goes with his girlfriend now, which is it's a good thing. But when it comes to his personal relationship with God, he doesn't have a personal relationship with God as it's supposed to be. So yes, as a mother, she's still praying and trusting God for the salvation, obviously, of her children. But spiritually, she's still at a good place, but inward is not safe.
So we just, I just want to, to encourage you guys. You guys have come a long way already, and to be able to even get to this place, to encourage you, being somebody who took over the burden for the family, just for you to be able to see the truth. The truth is something that has no relationship. You know, the truth destroys relationship, but it's good. The truth builds relationship. But the bottom line is, once we're walking in truth, we're walking with God, and that's just the beautiful thing. So I want to really encourage you and say thank you for holding them out. And if anyone is watching, you're around Cape Town, you're an attorney, you're a legal person, you want to support this, the wife especially, that is his sister-in-law. If you know a divorce lawyer, that can help them to go through this process, please get in touch with me. Make yourself available. Get in touch with me so you can support them through this process. Because, like he said, the husband, he told the wife after 16 years of marriage, you never allowed her to go study more. You never allowed her to go get a job. Now you are telling her that you came into this marriage with nothing and you're going to leave with nothing. What manner of a man is that? That man do not deserve 50% of what they have gathered with this marriage. Actually, you should give her more than that, because he was the one that made her stay at home to raise the kids. To raise the kids, it's a lot of work. Cook for him, make sure everything is okay. In Kenya, just last week or 2 weeks ago, they actually made it mandatory that husbands need to pay their wives who are staying at home, because you made her stay at home. So you have to pay her salary. That's just what it is. Not to oppress her, because you are the one that goes to work and brings the money. Let her go to work too. She would also bring some of the money. So Andre, thank you so much. Any last word from you?
Yes, Uncle Solomon. Again, I just want to thank you for this platform, for giving us an opportunity also to say our story again. It is really this platform that has given me the courage to speak out, and also continue to pray for Lucinda, Inwa, as well as Omega, and also our extended family, because we understand that prayer is a powerful thing. In spite of this thing happening in the church, we do not hate the church as a whole. We love the church, but we don't condone the wrong that's been done at New Covenant Christian Church. So again, all I'm wanting still today is that Bishop Theo Noble and Denver also would take responsibility and own up. And I think they owe it to the members of the church to tell them the truth, because I've been the liar. The Cinder's been the liar, and Inwa's been the liar for this whole 18 months. So I think the people, the congregation members, need to understand that Lucinda is a victim in all of this, as well as the kids.
Thank you so much, and I wish you guys all the best. Let's keep in touch. And again, I want to say to anybody who is into legal profession around Cape Town, if you want to help this family, especially the wife going through the divorce, because he's trying to take away everything and not make sure she gets nothing, please reach out to me so we can connect. Thank you so much, Andre.
Thank you, Uncle Solomon. Blessed evening, brother.
Yeah, as Andre there down in Cape Town, just representing his family, his brother, who is a pastor with New Covenant Church in Cape Town, has been, involved in just so many things that a pastor shouldn't be involved. A married person shouldn't be involved. And also, he's a prison warden. That means he's a prison officer at Portsmouth Prison in Cape Town. Remember Portsmouth Prison in Cape Town? It's one of these, that big prison that up there in Cape Town. And we need to learn to stand for family. We need to learn to stand for others. But importantly, we need to learn to stand for truth. Whatever is going to cost us, we need to stand for truth. Just because you are my brother and you are not living by the truth doesn't mean I'm not going to speak out. And we also need to learn to protect the voiceless. Those who are vulnerable, we need to be able to come out and protect them. Those who are weak, we need to be able to come out and protect them. That is important because that is what is going to make us more like Christ when we stand for the things that breaks God's heart. You know, if the things that breaks God's heart, his heart doesn't break our heart, then there's a problem. So we need to stand out and really, speak about that and talk about it. Mosima here is saying most of these notorious preachers need to admit that they are broken. Childhood trauma is one of the things they need healing from. Pay attention when they narrate their childhood stories. Lindy way here says the husband is wicked. Evelyn says this wicked man knows what he's doing. He just wants to make sure that his wife is well touched and drained before he will end the divorce. Right. Here, someone said no one knows the pain of what these families are experiencing. Indeed. Choni said, how can you blame your child for your wrongdoing? Such pastors as chasers always find someone to blame. Sad, and there's also quite a lot of other comments there. But thank you so much, guys. Please make sure you share this video, and also please can you like this video? And if you're watching, you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you go ahead and subscribe right away to Solomon's Temple. Please subscribe right away to Solomon's Temple. Again, in conclusion, please be a people of truth. Stay on the side of truth, whatever is going to cost you, whatever is going to cost you. Because that's how we know, that's how they know, that's how people know that we are Jesus's disciples. And importantly, that's how you would continue to grow. You would continue to be Christ-like. That is important. So thank you so much. God bless you and have a good evening.
Masinya Attorneys Incorporated, a boutique commercial and taxation law firm in Midrand, Johannesburg, South Africa. Strategic lawyers on point with more than 20 years of practice experience. We are professional, capable, and qualified.
Psalm 23. God has set a table for two. One chair for himself, the king, and the second one, believe it or not, is for you. But of course, the enemy wants a seat at the table too. Anxiety wants a seat, envy wants a seat, worry and frustration want a seat. But don't give the enemy a seat at your table. Look up, go up. You're invited up the mountain of God. Move towards infinite power, splendor, love, and beauty, healing and restoration. When we gaze upon the Almighty, we are changed by the captivation. Empowered to take every thought captive in the battle of the mind. Shame is silenced by His glory, and our future redefined. So draw near to Jesus. The shepherd is good. Our God is faithful. Take the place prepared for you, and don't give the enemy a seat at your table.